Welcome to another podcast episode for Shake the Dust. Today, I have the pleasure of having a beautiful lady join me today. She has been a good friend of mine, probably 8 or 9 years, and I met her through work, through my fitness business, and she ended up actually working for us, and then we become good friends and have stayed in touch ever since. She has done some really fun things. She played football professionally, and she'll tell you a little bit about that. And then she's also has done some amazing things with her gym, and she also is involved with a new nonprofit that she's going to share about. She has an amazing positive outlook on life, which is why I've been attracted to her and her personality. And I am just beyond excited to have on our podcast, Vanessa Biernat. Well, welcome, Miss Vanessa. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Clay?
Good. Super stoked to
Good.
have you on my podcast, which is so far been pretty amazing. All these people that I've been able to interview, and I was super stoked to have you on this one. So welcome.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Absolutely.
Yes, yes, you're looking very fine today.
Thank you. I showered my once a week shower. I
All
made sure it
right.
was just for you.
I'm
There you
glad it
go.
was on our day. So this is good.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Well, Vanessa,
Oh,
I'm going to share a little quick backstory before we kind of get started about you. But why don't you share just a little bit about you, kind of what brought you to where you are today?
oh gosh. I was born and raised in Minnesota and I hightailed it, down in Arizona for my first little stint of college, play soccer down there. And then I finished up in Wisconsin and went to Nicaragua for a little bit. So I got some life experience down there, made my way back to Minnesota and got involved with more athletics and, got to be back, in tune with my family because, home's where the heart is apparently. You leave and come back and I have a big family that I'm a part of. So they're all very, very important to me. So then I got into the gym owning, zone. And I've been doing that since 2017 and have just been, with all, of course, the ebbs and flows with that. It's kind of brought me, here today in March of 2021.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are those things? Is that where you learned how to make, what are those things that you guys make every, I don't know what it is. You guys go wait, is that where you,
Tamales.
tamales? Was that in Nicaragua? Is that where you learned how to make those? Or are you just
No.
from your mom?
Yeah, so my family is of Mexican heritage. My
Uh-huh.
grandfather is from Guadalajara, Mexico, and kind of
Yeah.
just brought it up here, and
Yeah.
we just kind of carried on that tradition. So
Yeah.
it's passed down from him and his family to all of my aunts and uncles, and now it's all of our cousins' realm, and now all of my cousins are having little kiddos of their own. So now they're getting in tune with
Nice.
what we do. So that's every year. Yep. So
That's
instead of
fun.
like the Christmas ham,
Yeah.
we make it during Thanksgiving and then we have the tamales during Christmas. So
That sounds amazing.
yeah, they're super awesome. So flavorful. And we've all just gotten, we've gotten experimental with the different meats and the seasonings that we use. So
Yeah.
we're kind of getting it dialed in. So it's pretty
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like your next business, you can start a restaurant, right?
There you go.
Yes,
Yep.
no.
There you go. Rice, beans, tamales. We got some tacos done. We'll get the
Nice.
jarritos.
Oh yeah. There
You
you
can
go.
I got you get that sugary soda and it just caps everything
Oh
off.
yeah. That sounds amazing, actually. I'm getting hungry.
Right?
It's getting close to lunch. But hey,
I
so I do
know.
know a little something about you. And I know some people know what kind of like your past, but you played for the NFL, right? Or no, not the NFL.
Wrong letter.
I no no no. Explain just a little bit about your little stint in playing football.
So I played for the LFL.
Okay.
Oh my God, I can't even remember what years it was. Was it 2012, 11 and 12 or 12 and 13? I played for the LFL, which it stands for the Lingerie Football League.
Uh-huh.
So I was, it's kind of funny because I was my dad's son that he just never had
Mm-hmm.
because I had there were three of us girls. I was the middle child and
Yeah.
but I just got involved in it just by word of mouth. And somebody had mentioned like, hey, you should check out this league. They're doing, tryouts, and you would actually be a really great football player. And
Hmm.
I had no idea what it was about. Googling the league, I'm
Hmm.
like, I do not look like that. Oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, but that really wasn't what it was about. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, we had our uniforms as
Yeah.
such, but I mean, we were taking hard hits.
Yeah.
Like
With
my
hardly any
quarterback
padding, right?
with
Yeah.
hardly any padding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my quarterback snapped both of her wrists. I mean, ACL tears, dislocated elbows, turf
Jeez.
burns beyond belief. I mean, it was amazing and reckless. And it was like literally the most fun
Uh,
I've had in my lifetime.
that's so
Truly.
cool. It's like my
Yeah.
sister playing roller derby, right?
Yeah.
Similar, you just
Yeah.
get hammered and you have hardly any padding. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and then there's just chicks. There's no
Yes.
holds bar when it comes to us
Oh
ladies.
yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
just, this is a safe place to demolish you.
I
Okay,
mean,
like let's go.
that's
Yeah.
it. And you're not competitive at all, are you?
No, me, not a chance.
Nice. Oh, that's super fun,
Yeah.
Vanessa. Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Stories to tell for sure. I know you've told
Oh,
other people
absolutely.
stories when we've been together, which is awesome. So,
Yeah.
no, it's been super fun getting to know you, Vanessa. I'm trying to think how long I've known you, and literally, I think I say this every time on every one of our podcast calls because I am so bad with time. Like as far as like, I don't know how long we've
It's
known each
like,
other. Like 15 years, 5 years, 8 years, but I would say probably maybe 8, 9 years,
yes.
about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, which has just been super fun. And we've connected and we've stayed close and
Yeah.
we've worked together. We've been
Mhm.
friends for a long time and just like experienced life together, which was super fun. But when I had this on my bucket list, when I decided, hey, I'm actually going to do this podcast, you were the first that one of the first that came to mind to have on my podcast because I just have tons of respect for you. Just like, and the thing that I most admire about you is just your true authenticity and your positive outlook on life. Like literally every time I've seen you, like you've had a smile. Like I know you're not unlike anybody else. So you have challenges. You have like stuff
Yeah.
that you're just like, how in the world I'm going to do this, especially being an entrepreneur and being married to your crazy husband and all
Right.
of that stuff, which is
Truly.
he's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
But so just your positive outlook on life, no matter what, it's just been really cool to look at, and honestly, just to learn from. For me too, and just being like, hey, like life is not always easy, but it's just how you look at it, which has been really cool. So I would love to talk to you about that. Wait, I would love to talk about that with you today, if that works, just for a
Yes.
couple of minutes. Does that work?
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Cool. Well, cool. So
Absolutely.
I've got a couple questions for you that I want to ask, just because I don't even know. So I think we can all learn together a little bit more about you. But what, where does your motivation and your drive come from?
I think it just comes from people in general. I mean, being a gym owner, I have, you know, 100 plus people that I'm, along with my staff that I'm, constant ebbing and flowing with.
Mhm.
And every single one of those people come from difficult marriages,
Mhm.
difficult work life balance, difficult families, difficult coworkers, difficult, commutes to work. Now that things are kind of, making their way back into their work,
Mhm.
environments. And um, you know, people just need to be given a little bit more grace. I
Mhm.
mean, I I love hearing everybody's stories. I mean, because everybody comes from a journey, everybody has their own journey,
Mhm.
and there's always something to learn. So that's, I feel like, just I f- I know that that is one thing that just always is fueling me,
Mhm.
is just getting to learn how people tick and
Mhm.
how they get their motivation because
Mhm.
they're dealing with their own struggles,
Mhm.
in life. So I get a lot of my energy from them.
So you tend to feed off of other people,
Yeah.
would you say? Um, I'm curious, like, and this is actually more of a personal question too, but like, I don't even know how you grew up, but how much do you think your childhood actually shapes kind of who you are? And I mean, maybe good, maybe bad, depending on your childhood. But how do you think, how much of that growing up affects who you are today, would you say?
I think a lot of it was really in my high school to college age. I mean, especially coming from Minnesota, then going all the way down to Arizona. I mean, I was coming from very different demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went, our education system up in Minnesota is very different from Arizona. I think it also helped me learn a little bit more when I spent my time down in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, it's for a third world country. A lot of the families that I had met and stayed with and spent time with, they didn't have a lot, but they had more than enough,
Mm-hmm.
as far as family, even food on the table. Like, they never needed they didn't know what it meant to be keeping up with the Joneses,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I think a lot of my younger adult,
Mm-hmm.
to even my college is what shaped me
Mm-hmm.
to just learn and not talk as much, but listen more.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of your biggest regrets in your life?
My biggest regrets in life. Honestly, I can't pinpoint anything. I've thought about, just in general, like, oh, I wish I maybe never would have done that, or I never would
Mm-hmm.
have done that. I feel like it's just been a curb to put me back on track with
Mm-hmm.
where I've been. I probably wouldn't have, really probably wouldn't have gotten drunk off of Mike's Hard Lemonade in ninth grade. I had a bellyache for about 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, as far as, like, decisions to open my business,
Yeah.
marriage,
Yeah.
ending ending relationships, whether
Yeah.
they be old intimate relationships or friendships.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of those decisions, some of them very hard decisions, have been for the betterment of now not only me, but that other person as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned
Mm-hmm.
and have been able to just kind of move forward with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really had too many hardships in my life,
Yeah.
but I've learned a lot of really, tough lessons,
Mm-hmm.
but lessons that have shaped me for where I am even
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Based off that question, would you consider yourself a deep person? Like, are you do a lot of like thinking in your own head? I know I do, but like, do you tend to, I don't know, like, I'm in my head a lot, right? I'm always thinking. I'm like, I would consider myself like a deep thinker. Not that smart, but I'm always, maybe that's why I just need to get out of my head. But would you consider yourself a deep person, or you kind of let life come and,
I think so. I think I'm a deep thinker. I can be an overanalyzer.
Mhm.
And sometimes that does set me back because I think something needs to be perfect in order to
Mhm.
happen. And
Mhm.
sometimes perfection doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So I'm very cautious
Mhm.
of some of the risks that I take. And sometimes I can wait too long to make certain decisions.
Mhm.
And I think that's beneficial, but also can be detrimental in some ways because I
Mhm.
just get in my own head and I
Mhm.
overanalyze and I overthink,
Mhm.
um, on certain decisions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So back to like one of the things that I most admire about you is just how from the outside you have such a positive outlook on life. Like, where does that come from? I mean, because it's one thing to be like, you have a lot of people that are like up and down and they're like in a great mood and then they're not, and then they're like super depressed or whatever. And so I'm not saying that, like, I'm just saying for the most part, when I think of Vanessa, I think of a positive person who's always smiling, who always is like, ah, we'll be good. Like, where does that come from?
I just everything works out. It either works out or it doesn't, and you shift your
Mm,
perspective and you shift your route you take. Um, Nobody wants to see, especially in my line of work,
mhm,
people come from already different lives and
mhm,
situations. They don't need somebody else coming in with, a gray cloud over their head. They're looking for a little bit of a beacon of light.
mhm,
So I'm always, the moment that they enter the gym, I'm always, hey Shelly, what's going on? Josh, how is that conference today? So
mhm,
I'm always engaging and giving them something to at least look forward to
mhm,
in, even nowadays, a world that is just so gloomy or
mhm,
can be so gloomy.
mhm,
People need beacons of light and
mhm,
beacons of light any which
mhm,
way. So I just choose to be a little bit of a beacon of light
mhm.
for those people.
Awesome. So I don't want to forget these two questions. I will for sure. But have you been like this your whole life? Or was there like a point where you're like, you know what, I'm tired of the way that I'm living. I want to live like this.
I really think I have been like this my whole life. I mean, I you know, I had it pretty good growing up. I was a three-sport athlete. I was almost the best in every sport.
Mhm,
I was a captain early on. I was a captain by my freshman to sophomore year in high school and carried it on out. I'm patting myself on the back. I was
mhm.
homecoming queen in high school,
Yeah, of
because I
course.
just was I just was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
There was no like, I'm part of the athletic group, so I'm over
Mhm.
there. But I had people in theater that I was friends with.
Yeah.
I had everybody with, the black eyeliner and the emo garb all over, and I'm like, hey Sonia, or hey
Mhm.
so and so, what's going on? But I was friends with every single person. And
Yeah.
that really was me as I was growing up. I just
Yeah.
being friends with everybody.
Yeah. And you've continued that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you said that you want to be a beacon of light, that's amazing. Um, and I absolutely believe that's how you live. I mean, from what I've seen, that's how you are. How do you fill your cup though? Like at the end of the day, like how do you like what renews you? What feel like, you know what I mean? Like fills you up with new energy. Like what are some things you do to help with that?
Alone time.
Okay.
Alone time. Because honestly, and being that beacon of light is so draining
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So draining, because I literally give
Yeah.
everything to every member and
Mhm.
every staff member that I have here, and my
Mhm.
husband and my relationship. And
Mhm.
that's been a little bit of a hard balance. Is
Mhm.
I give my all to the people
Yeah.
at my business, and then I also need to make sure that I have enough for my home life and my
Sure.
balance there.
Sure.
But honestly, alone time is when I'm watching my smut TV,
Mhm.
like 90 Day Fiance, or you know Dr. Pimple Popper.
You didn't have to share that, but that's okay. You
Oh
weird.
my God. Yeah. But it's just those mind numbing, just
Yes.
TV shows where I
Yeah.
can basically bring myself back to neutral.
Yeah.
And it just kind of it just gives me the energy back up
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
another week.
Mhm.
But it's alone time for
Yeah.
sure. I
Cool.
don't need I don't need the massages. I don't need the, long bath time. I don't need to go out on a run or work out. I need just alone time to get myself re-centered.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a platform here, just because I know you're doing some cool stuff, and it may not be what the answer that I'm thinking you're gonna give, but how would you say you're making a difference in this world?
So one thing that is new,
Mhm.
is me and my husband and several friends of ours had started a nonprofit.
Okay.
Um, it's called Period Kits Minnesota, and what we basically do is fill monthly kits and deliver them to shelters, homes, schools,
Mm-hmm.
resource centers, um, for people that just are looking for a little bit of dignity
Mm-hmm.
for for when that happens. Anybody who's transitioning
Mm-hmm.
that wants to kind of remain a little bit anonymous to
Mm-hmm.
that still. We
Mm-hmm.
still want to provide product for anybody and everybody who needs it.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are, especially, moms that are single parents that are choosing between diapers or food over their
Mm-hmm.
own products,
Wow.
for themselves.
Yeah.
So what turned into, Sunday fun day watching the Vikings game
Mm-hmm.
for 16 weeks
Yeah.
turned into what more can we do? Like
Yeah.
we obviously all, us five love to hang out together. What can we do? And then a
Yeah.
friend of ours had an uncle who actually founded Period Kits Denver.
Okay.
And so it started out in Denver, and
Yeah.
we are a branch to carry
Okay.
on that over here in the Twin City area.
Yeah.
So that's besides my business
Yeah.
and doing the education with, functional movement and CrossFit life and healthy journey,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition guidance. We're also doing this to help our community, our underserved community in the Twin Cities.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
You think you're making would you say you're making a difference with what you do for work?
God, I hope so.
No, I'm asking you like, no, 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 I get it for sure. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the people that are listening might not know what you do for a gym. But honestly, I think because I work with gym owners, I think it's incredible what they do, changing their community. But like, can you speak to that just a little bit? How you feel like you're making a difference within the work that you're doing?
Yeah. So I own a CrossFit gym up here in Minnesota in the
Okay.
Minneapolis area. And I've owned this gym since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think positively I'm making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And whether people have, want to be a part of that difference or not, we've had people come and go over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I definitely think I'm making the world just a dusting of a better place because I'm just kind of creating healthy humans that are going to last a little bit longer and
Yeah.
just have hopefully me rubbing off on them will just have a little bit more of that positive outlook
Yeah.
on life in general.
Yeah.
You can't control everything all the time, but you can control your emotions and your actions and
Mm-hmm.
getting sweaty is one way to just kind of help you feel a little bit better and
Mm-hmm.
just teaching every single generation, whether you're early 20s or early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I have people in my gym that are in their early 70s, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just let's help you just move better
Mm-hmm.
and feel better.
Yeah.
And I think I am creating that
Yeah.
little glimmer of positivity and difference.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know you are. So, I mean, I appreciate your humbleness, and that's great. But I know you, and I know if I was anywhere close to Osiris, CrossFit Osiris, I'd be like, sign me up. I want to be a
Sign me up.
member.
I'm there.
Yeah. Oh, Vanessa's not teaching today.
Bye. Cancel my class, please. Thanks.
Right? No, that's so good, Vanessa. That's awesome. Um, so if you could pick one word, what would you choose? What would that one word be that would describe Vanessa?
Why do I think aggressive?
Right. I mean, you got to go with your gut.
I just think like aggressive, like
Right.
I'm aggressive in the fact that I love to just, I'm going to be 34 this summer and I
Yeah.
still even think like I'm in my 20s and I need to be aggressive with everything I do.
Yeah.
My workouts, my relationships, because I
Yeah.
also want to like hold tight, and fight for those relationships
Yeah.
if they mean a lot.
Yeah.
Being aggressive with people too and wanting them to be better,
Mhm.
and holding them accountable and being a good coach to them. So
Mhm.
I kind of think just aggressive can be used in so many different ways, but
Mhm.
that is like the one word that I'm thinking of that just
Right.
is there. Aggressive, I
Mhm.
mean, just, but I'm also passionately defensive about,
Yeah.
my friendships and my family,
Yeah.
anybody that does wrongdoing, it's, let me at them, but it's it's holding everybody accountable in an aggressive
Yeah.
manner, loving aggressively
Yeah.
to and letting go
Yeah.
aggressively, and
Yeah.
and especially when relationships are just not meant to be in your circle.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that honesty. It's like you don't live in the gray area, right? You don't live in the middle. It's like like you're either in or you're
You're
out.
yeah, right.
And so you kind of answered that question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it may spur some thoughts. But how important is it for you to stand up for what you believe in? And are you aggressive when it comes to that? Like, are there things that like no BS or I'll let you answer the question.
Yeah. Um, I think in certain aspects I'm aggressive. Um, and in certain aspects I don't think maybe I'm aggressive enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, especially given our climate these days, I know that
Mm-hmm.
there are people that need to a little bit more standing up for.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are some people that need to have more honest conversation and honest dialogue with
Mm-hmm.
them because they're thinking of one side too much.
Yeah.
Um, so in certain aspects, I think I am aggressive, but
Mm-hmm.
in other fashions, I'm not being aggressive enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing, if anything, being in my role,
Yeah.
having all of these people under my Osiris gym,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to, you got to be Switzerland in a lot of those different discussions
Yeah.
because you you can't be
Yeah.
completely one way and you can't be completely the other way. You got to
Mm-hmm.
be a middle ground and be able to listen
Mm-hmm.
to both sides because people need a vent and
Sure.
people need to express their frustrations about the climate these days on
Yeah.
whatever aspect they want. But
Yeah.
sometimes that can be tough,
Yeah.
especially when I personally have views one way or the
Mm-hmm.
other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some areas I'm not aggressive enough.
Yeah. Well, your views are right. For just kidding.
Well, hello. I thank you. I know. Oh,
I mean, did,
truly.
did I even doubt, right?
Right.
And a quick side question. So, are you aggressive in the car? Like, are you always showing people the way to heaven a lot?
Right? And it's funny because that's why I don't have like a CrossFit Osiris bumper sticker on my
That's
car.
probably smart.
I literally drive like an asshole. I do.
Get, get
Just
out of my way.
oh
That is awesome. Yeah.
my God. That is,
Uh,
oh,
Vanessa, that's awesome. So tell me something as we kind of wrap up a little bit here. Tell me something you're passionate about. What comes to mind. It could be something new. It could be something you've been doing for a long time. But what are you passionate about these days?
people,
People. Okay.
people.
Expand a little bit on what are you passionate about all people, about certain types of people? Expand a little bit.
I'm passionate about all people. I
Mm-hmm.
may not agree with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
um, but everybody's scared in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people get nervous, and I want to know why they're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
People have apprehensions about um, where our world is going, or how to even do a squat snatch.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to listen and hear them, and that easing their mind is always my number one, and letting them know that they're in control of how they're able to move. And I I am just passionate about people because they've got so many different stories to tell in different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're never done learning from
Mm-hmm.
people. And I
Sure.
think that's something that is
Yeah.
just kind of excites me a little bit. I may
Yeah.
not like these people,
Yeah.
but there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
Always something to learn.
Yeah. It's impressive, Vanessa, because you're a young buck. And to be at that point, like, so you're in like a 34, yeah,
Yep.
34-year-old
Yep.
body, but your mind is older. I believe it's always been older. Like I've always known you as being super young at heart for sure, but you think like someone who's like 51.
Yeah. but not of the body of
I'm
a
not saying
51-year-old.
no, 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 definitely not. And I made sure I was clear about that. But I like the way
Yeah.
you think. And I just think that's cool. If I was anywhere near where you were at 34, I feel like I would have really gone places.
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
no, Vanessa, that's awesome. I'm super stoked. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. You've been a great friend to me, and I'm looking forward to just like many years of just hearing amazing things of what you got going on, and with Osiris and with this new nonprofit that you have going on. And what I'll do is I'm going to share a link for both your gym, and then also, do you guys have any type of any website or Facebook page or Instagram for? And what's it called again? It's called Period Kits.
Yep, Period Kits MN. Yep,
Okay.
and we
Okay.
have a website and a Facebook
Okay.
and Instagram account for
Okay,
sure.
cool. Then after that, I'll get that information from you and we'll share that in your little bio that I put up. But
Pretty cool.
Vanessa, it's been good having you on.
Always, always a pleasure to talk with you, Clay.
I
Oh,
know. I know. We're like, you know what I mean? We've always been good friends, you
I
know?
know.
You
And I
know,
wish
it's like,
we were closer.
yeah.
There would be so much
Yeah.
coffee and
Yeah, for sure. No, it's
yeah,
good. Like, and I know, and that's everybody that I've had on my podcast and will have. There's about 50 people that I
yeah,
have that through my life have just like when I met them, it's like there's an instant connection there, which has
yeah,
been really fun. And I've
yeah,
made a point to try and get to know them better because there's something about them that's different in my mind than other people. The difference maker. And so that's why it's so awesome having these conversations because the people that I have on there have meaningful things to say. They don't look at me with like a deer in the headlights and be like, I have no idea. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I know they have good answers, and these questions are that's not something you necessarily have every day. These type of conversations, but I really appreciate you, and just want to like lift you up and be like, you're doing great things, so keep it
I
up.
love it. Well, thank you so
Cool.
much, Clay. Always an honor chatting with you.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Vanessa. Thank you.
All right.